Alright, so this is going to be my second video on Laplace transforms. We're going to be evaluating them. So the Laplace transform of some function f of t is equal to the integral 0 to infinity e to the negative st times this function f of t, and we're integrating with respect to t. Alright, so let's look at our second example. So we want to evaluate the Laplace transform of e to the negative 3t. Alright, so we have the Laplace transform e to the negative 3t. That's going to be the integral 0 to infinity of e to the negative 3t times e to the negative st dt. Alright, so if I multiply these together, remember we have like basis, so we add the exponents. So that's going to be 0 to infinity e, and then when we add the exponents, that gives us negative st minus 3t, and we're integrating with respect to t. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to factor out a negative t. Alright, so that's going to give me 0 to infinity e to the negative, and that's going to be s plus 3 times t dt. Alright, now let's integrate. So when we integrate this thing, that's going to be negative 1 over s plus 3 e to the negative s plus 3 times t. And I'm going from 0 to infinity. Alright, so now we need to evaluate this. So this is going to be the limit as t goes to infinity. Okay, remember t's approaching infinity here. And that's going to be negative 1 over s plus 3 e to the negative s plus 3 times t, okay, minus this thing when we plug 0 in, and since this is negative, that's going to make it positive, and that's going to be 1 over s plus 3 e to the negative s plus 3 times t. Okay. Put my parenthesis there. Alright, now let's look at this thing. So if I take this and I move it down into the denominator, so it would look something like this. It would be negative 1 over s plus 3 times e to the negative s plus 3. I'm sorry, not negative. It would be a positive, because when we move it down to the denominator, it changes the sign of the exponent. So as t is getting really big, okay, t is going to infinity, so that means this whole denominator here is getting large. So that means the whole fraction would be going to 0. So that means this whole term here is going to 0. Alright, and another thing where I didn't write that correctly, did I? I'm plugging 0 in. I had a t there. I'm plugging 0 in. Alright, so now I have e to the 0, which makes this term here 1, and so 1 times s plus 3, 1 times 1 over s plus 3 would be 1 over s plus 3, and that would be my solution. Alright, so I hope this video's helped. If it did, you can watch my other videos and you can subscribe. Alright, thanks.